Anakin Skywalker's fall to the dark side took place from the moment QuiGon Jinn found him on Tatooine, and there were a ton of moments both intended by Palpatine and unintended that led to Anakin becoming Darth Vader. And today I want to go through my top 10 moments that caused Anakin's fall in chronological order. It's a video I've wanted to make for quite a while, and I wanted to read as much as I could before I compiled this list. I just finished Labyrinth of Evil, and it takes place right before Revenge of the Sith. Of course, I read the Revenge of the Sith novel before that, so I hope you enjoy. Please leave a like, subscribe. We just hit 5,000 subscribers, which is so special to me. So awesome. Each and every one of you. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. I can barely put it into words. We're just going to keep going here. We're going to keep growing, I hope. Thank you, all of you. And I thought, hey, this is a fun video to make for 5,000 subscribers. So, thank you, everybody. So let's get into the top 10 moments that led to the fall of Anakin Skywalker, starting with the one that started a chain of events that led to it all. Number 10, in chronological order, the death of QuiGon Jinn. Qui-Gon was the perfect master for Anakin, old enough to be a father figure, wise enough to understand Anakin needed to be treated like a person rather than like a Jedi Padawan, and willing to listen to the Force, do what's best for the people, rather than what's best for the Senate. The death of Qui-Gon forced Obi-Wan Kenobi to train a boy he once called another pathetic life form, not because he wanted to train Anakin, but because he promised he would train Anakin. Obi-Wan was far from ready for this task, as he was still a Jedi Knight when Qui-Gon died, and now had the responsibility of training this 10-year-old chosen one. I don't really blame Obi-Wan for the fall, because he was kind of thrown to the fire, literally on Mustafar, I guess, and was just doing what he thought was best. He was powerful, wise, and strong, but he relied too much on the Council rather than his feelings. The death of Qui-Gon started it all, causing that chain reaction. That's number 10. Number 9, then, the death of Anakin's mother. When Shmi Skywalker died in the arms of Anakin, he truly gave into his anger, letting it consume him, blaming the Jedi for not helping him save his mother. This is an excerpt from the Attack of the Clones novelization, as Anakin describes his feelings as his mother dies, giving into his anger. Anakin looked about, wondering how he might get his mother's body out of there, for he certainly wasn't going to leave it to the Tusken Raiders. He could hardly move, though. There was a profound pointlessness to it all, a series of motions without meaning. At that time, the only meaning, the only purpose that Anakin could fathom was that of the rage building within him, in anger at losing someone he did not want to ever give up. Some small part of him warned him to not give in to that anger, warned him that such emotions were of the dark side. Then he looked down at Shmi lying below him, so still, seeming at peace, but covered with clear evidence of all the pain that had been inflicted upon her. The Jedi Padawan climbed to his feet and took up his lightsaber, then boldly strode through the door. The two Tusken guards gave a yelp, lifting their staves, rushing for him, but the blue glowing blade ignited, and in a flash of killing light, Anakin took them down, left and right. Kind of rhymed there. Nice job. Anyways, Anakin there gave in, truly letting his anger take over. The death of his mother was a crucial moment, and Palpatine would bring it up time and time again to remind Anakin of this moment when he let his anger consume him. We see it in the Revenge of the Sith novel, or just in the movie. It's in the novelization too, of course, but it's also in Labyrinth of Evil. Palpatine used this moment more than on one occasion to remind Anakin of the anger that resided inside of him. Now to the Clone Wars after that event. Number 8 on our list, Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order. The Clone Wars began soon after Anakin's mother died, and Anakin was thrown right into the middle of it all. One of the most powerful Jedi, the best Jedi pilot in the galaxy, and an excellent Jedi general that led his armies by example. But Anakin was undisciplined, and to help with that, Grandmaster Yoda assigned him a Padawan, Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka quickly became more than just a Padawan to Anakin. She became a great friend to Anakin. Like a sister, and Anakin trained her to be just like him in how they acted. They were an epic duo in the Clone Wars, leading the 501st throughout the war. Ahsoka became an attachment that Anakin would not easily let go of. And then, one day, the Jedi Temple was bombed. Despite Ahsoka helping lead Anakin in the investigation for the culprit, evidence began to stack up against Ahsoka, making her seem like the culprit. And instead of the Jedi Council doing whatever was needed to help this young Jedi, to help Anakin's Padawan, to help a Jedi who had won many battles for the Republic, the Council expelled her from the Order, so she could be put into a Republic trial. And of course, the Council was wrong. Once again, the Council didn't help Anakin, as he tried to clear Ahsoka's name. One of Anakin's best friends was expelled from the Order and left for something she didn't do. Ahsoka understood Anakin on a level that Obi-Wan and Padme just could not. If she never was expelled, things could have been much different. And the Clone Wars continued on without her, leading us to number 7, the Outer Rim Sieges. I think this one may be underrated, but soon after Ahsoka was expelled and left the Order, Anakin and Obi-Wan were two of the main Jedi taking part in the Outer Rim Sieges. These were battles focused on pushing the Separatists out of the Outer Rim after they'd been pushed out of the core worlds. Now, I think this was a perfectly placed, meticulous plan from Palpatine to keep Anakin away from Padme. As he was in direct control of the Separatists, he had them retreat into the Outer Rim, and in turn, Anakin was chasing them. For about 5 months, Anakin was cut off from Padme as he fought in battle after battle in worlds that he truly didn't care about. In the book Labyrinth of Evil, these sieges are mentioned many times by Anakin as something he just can't take another day of. Every time it seems like they're about to go back to Coruscant, another Outer Rim battle is given to Anakin. And in the book, the only person to really sympathize with him is Palpatine, the man orchestrating it all. These sieges are, in my opinion, the reason we actually see Anakin having a lot of fun in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. This is where the fun begins, smiling in battle, smiling as they board the invisible hand. He's making jokes, getting on well with Obi-Wan, because he knows he's finally returning home to Padme. The sieges made him resent the Jedi more, made him miss Padme more, making him never want to be away from her like this, ever again. Bringing us now to number 6, killing Count Dooku. When rescuing Palpatine, the plan between Dooku and Palpatine was for Dooku to fight Anakin and Obi-Wan, separate Obi-Wan, and then get Anakin to open himself to the dark side. Once that happened, Palpatine was supposed to step in, and the three of them would take over the Republic. Unfortunately for Dooku, he was all but a pawn. Only part of the plan came true. After getting rid of Obi-Wan Kenobi during the fight, Dooku had Anakin all alone, right where he wanted them. And Dooku taunted Anakin, telling him he had hatred, he had anger, but he didn't use them. As Dooku fought Anakin, these were his thoughts from the Revenge of the Sith novel. Skywalker was a natural. There was a thermonuclear furnace where his heart should be, and it was burning through his Jedi training, begging to be let out. He was half Sith already, and he didn't even know it. This boy had the gift of fury. Anakin had dread. Dooku realized the dread was of himself, of what might happen should Anakin ever allow that furnace to open itself up. And then Dooku, with the help of Palpatine, unlocked the furnace inside of Anakin's heart. Anakin used the fury, used the rage as a weapon, rather than hiding it away, and that was the death of Dooku, and in turn, the birth of Vader. Leading us then to number 5. Anakin was back on Coruscant. He was happy. But number 5 is the dreams of Padme dying. After 5 long months, Anakin was back on Coruscant with Padme. Dooku was dead. Grievous was on the run. Separatists were crumbling. The war was going to end. He was with Padme. All was supposed to finally be right. And then the dreams. The same types of dreams that Anakin had about his mother, he began to have about Padme, dying in childbirth. Of course, Anakin would never know this, but her dying in childbirth was because of Anakin's turn to the dark side. It's sadly ironic, that he turned to the dark side to save her, and that is what got her killed. The dreams put doubt into his mind about everything. He still wasn't powerful enough to save her, and he knew it, and the Jedi didn't know about their marriage, so he couldn't tell them, and it put into motion many sad events for Anakin. Constant state of dread, of fear, anger at everything, looking for any solution. Anakin would not let her and the children die. He would do anything to save her. So, that brings us to number 4, and I think this one's actually more important than we may think, the conversation with Grand Master Yoda. After having the dreams, Anakin tried to get help from the greatest Jedi of them all, Yoda. Though Anakin didn't disclose exactly who he was having visions about, he told Yoda he would not let this person die. He couldn't let this person die. And Yoda gave Anakin exactly what he needed to realize the Jedi way was not the answer to save Padme. These were Anakin's real thoughts once Yoda denied him of the answer he needed. Anakin thought the greatest sage of the Order had nothing better to offer him than pious babble about letting things pass out of his life. Like he hadn't heard that a million times already. Anakin wasn't about to give up. Not in this millennium. Yoda showed Anakin that in order to find out how to save Padme, he would need to find a new method. It wouldn't come from the Jedi Grand Master. Perhaps, though, being made a master and getting access to the archives would give him exactly what he needed. Which brings us to number 3, being denied the rank of master. This was the council meeting that changed everything. The Jedi Council decided Anakin was to spy on the Chancellor. But it was Anakin that had to do it all, as Anakin had recently been made the Chancellor's personal representative of the Jedi Council. But this was not to be on the record, and Anakin didn't find out about that until after he was denied Master. While in his first council session, Anakin was told by Mace Windu that he was on the council, but he was not to be a Jedi Master. And upon hearing this, rage boiled and burned inside of Anakin. This was an insult to him. Being on the council, but not being a master, not getting a vote. To Anakin, this was nothing but a stand against him and Palpatine. And he was furious. If not for the voice of Obi-Wan in the novel, telling him to take a seat, he may have erupted right then and there. And then, like I said, being asked to spy on Palpatine, the other person aside from Padme that seemed to truly trust Anakin, was just insult to injury, salt in the wound. Yoda wouldn't help him with Padme, the council wouldn't help him, and he wouldn't have access to the archives. He needed some way to save Padme. Which brings us to number 2, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Anakin found his new method to save Padme. Yoda and the Jedi couldn't help him, but on one simple night, when Palpatine told Anakin about a Sith legend, everything changed. Palpatine told Anakin about how Plagueis was working on the power to save others from death, and he had achieved such power. The Jedi were not the answer to save Padme, but perhaps the Sith were. In the Revenge of the Sith novel, it dives into what Anakin did upon hearing the story, so here's just a bit of that. For a long, long time after leaving the Opera House, Anakin sat motionless in his speeder, eyes closed, resting his hands in his head. After a long time, he finally lifted his head and called Padme. He explained that something had come up and he had to sleep in the temple tonight, but Anakin did not sleep. How could he, when every time he closed his eyes, he could only see Padme screaming? Instead, he spent the entire night in the temple, researching Plagueis with no results, no luck, wishing desperately he could get access to the temple archives. If only he was made a master. And of course Anakin found nothing, as the Jedi didn't know about Plagueis. But Anakin just wanted to learn about him, wanted to find out, wanted to save Padme. Which brings us to number 1, the crucial moment. Palpatine knew about Plagueis. Palpatine was the only one who had provided Anakin with an answer, or even a semblance of an answer, on how to save Padme. Number 1 is Anakin seeing Mace Windu try to kill Palpatine. This is the final moment, the crucial moment that turned Anakin. After days, weeks of Palpatine planting hints that the Jedi were trying to take over, Anakin was able to see it with his own eyes. Of course, Anakin was completely blinded by love, by hatred, by rage, blinded by fear, blinded by the dark side to see what was really happening here. Mace Windu was not in the wrong to try and kill Darth Sidious, at least in my opinion. Mace Windu just watched him effortlessly slaughter 3 Jedi Masters. He was in direct control of the Senate, and the Course, and the Separatists, and even a little bit of the Jedi. He was a danger to everyone and everything. He was a Sith Lord with nothing but evil. But to Anakin, this was murder. This was the Jedi attempting to kill the man that was like a father to him. And when Mace raised his lightsaber, Anakin gave in to the dark side once and for all. So there's my list of the 10 crucial moments that caused Anakin to turn to the dark side. Perfect planning by Palpatine. Consistent missteps by the Jedi Council. It caused the downfall of Anakin and the Jedi. The only winner in the end was Palpatine. Let me know what you thought of my list. Did I miss anything? Maybe, possibly, who knows? Let me know. Probably. Anyways, I thought it was fun. This was a video I've wanted to make for a while. Little 5,000 subscriber special. So, hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I've got good plans for this week. Fan fiction coming out on Wednesday. Probably going to be What If Ahsoka Turned to the Dark Side with Vader on Malachor. So, that one will be fun. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video.